if Quinton Beastwood is out of that call out, it actually benefits his physique in terms of comparisons. Because if he gets into a second call out.
Behrouz is one of the athletes that, has been denied so many times, prepped for shows that he ended up not going, and it happened again this time, several shows. So it's not a surprise to him. It's the same kind of like Hadi. Hadi was always the last minute guy.
Bodybuilding fanatics around the world, welcome back to Primetime Muscle. I'm Jeremy Buendia, and joined with me today is an all-star lineup. We have Milos the Mind Sarcev, Dennis the Menace James, and Tarek the Gordito El Gende. We go back way, you guys. We go back a long time. The very beginning of my career, Dennis, Tarek, I've known you since I was 18 years old. 18 years old. And we've had our ups and downs. Dennis, we shot the perfect physique together in 2014, lived together for a little over a week. You mentored me, taught me a lot, put me in my place a couple times out there as well. And Milos, we trained together in a speakeasy gym during COVID. Man, sometimes. It was amazing. Yeah. So I'm just very grateful to be here with you guys, to be along this lineup. You guys are legends of the sport. Tarek, would you imagine me sitting here in 2019, 2020 when you wouldn't even allow me into your gym, into your shows?
I'm happy you're here. You have won 4 Olympia titles. That's undeniable, right?
Right.
It is on your resume. Nobody can take it away from you. And one of the things is, I always say, as it is right now, you're the greatest men's physique competitor of all times. Ryan Terry has 3 titles. Brendan Hendrickson has 3 titles. And ultimately, what you do at the Olympia stage is how you're defined, and you've done pretty well.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. But speaking of not being allowed somewhere, let's talk about Behrouz Tabani. Behrouz Tabani is coming back to Olympia in just a few weeks, qualified in 2023, qualified in 2024, but yet was denied his visa to compete in the United States at the Mr. Olympia. Last year in 2025, Milos, he finally got approved, but it was so last minute. Imagine the pressures of preparing for Olympia, but also in the back of your mind, knowing that the last 2 years, you put your heart and soul into prep just to not be able to compete and show your best. So the question is, you guys, is this Behrouz's real Olympia debut? Now that he has some peace of mind of knowing he's going to be able to come to Olympia stage, he's going to be able to get through a prep and show his best. Not only that, but get to Vegas a little bit earlier to let himself settle in before stepping on that big stage.
Let me get in before Milos gets in, because Milos has a lot more to say than me when it comes to Behrouz. I would say that actually he was pretty early here last year. I think it was like a week. Okay, it's early for him. Behrouz is one of the athletes that has been denied so many times, prepped for shows that he ended up not going, and it happened again this time, several shows. So it's not a surprise to him. It's the same kind of like Hadi. Hadi was always the last minute guy to get approved and make it to sometimes 2 days before the Olympia. Yeah. And these guys are just used to that because we got, 4 weeks?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
You said it a week, they're used to it, but it's not an advantage. It puts you at a disadvantage, whether you're used to it or not. Being able to come into another country, adjusting the time schedule, adjusting to the climate, all of these things. Not only that, but not being in your own, in your own home or own bubble, adjusting.
But when it comes to Behrouz, he's done it a few times. He traveled to all the cities, he competes, he goes to Dubai, he does the show in Italy, he wins in Romania, he wins these shows. Yep. And he goes there for a few days. So it's not like he's not used to it. Is it perfect? No. Of course, him being in the States a few weeks, before the Olympia would help him tremendously. And I think that, this will be the reason that we'll probably see Behrouz at his all-time best coming into the Olympia.
Yeah, okay. Let me now correct you. He's not qualified just for 23 and 24. He was also qualified for 22. Okay. So there was the 3 Olympias that he had to miss. 2025, he showed up. Actually, visa was denied a couple of times, and then last minute he did get it. Every time when I say something that sounds like excuse, people, you're going for excuse. He literally had a 3 teeth killing him for a whole week here. He didn't want to go to dentist. He didn't want to take antibiotics. He was just suffering through. And yeah, that was not the best Behrouz that we saw. It was after years of waiting for Olympia debut, he showed up, and You know, of course, we all disappointed, me included. And me as a coach, I have to take biggest responsibility for that. Still, Behrouz, for me, has that most beautiful body. We were talking about you, Jeremy, 4 times MP champion. But you are known for that body that everybody wants it. You know, you ask any guy that is in the gym, what do you want to look like? They would want to look like you. If you step up to the bodybuilding world, if right now God gives me, choose one body that you can become, I would choose Behrouz's body in a heartbeat. The beauty of bodybuilding, everything a bodybuilding should stand for is Behrouz Tabani. Wide shoulders, round, full chest, beautiful arms, V-taper, crazy back. I wish we had a tape of him just being relaxed, walking to that place you guys seen when he turns around and pose. When you see him completely relaxed, that lats is hanging all the way. It's like cobra lats, bubbly all over the place. You know, so I said often, in men's physique, you guys have basically front relaxed pose and back relaxed pose. I said those are the most important poses. Stand there, look good, without posing. If you can stand, relax, and look good, there's that ultimate body that we're all looking for. You see somebody on the beach, relaxed completely, not posing, that's Behrouz Tabani. He doesn't have to pose to look magnificent. His downfall was that he does need to bring his legs to match his upper body. If there is upper body contest, I think Behrouz would be one of the favorites to win with complete shape, you know, the super flat stomach, super small waist, deep abs, detail that you have striations that nowadays it's not so common. You know, back in 1990s, you could see, I just posted a picture of Dennis on my Instagram. Please, guys, look at it. It's the most freakiest thing you've ever seen in your life. But back in our times, we trained chest. You can see 27.5 muscle fibers on each side. Now this is not happening. So polished, beautiful physique, sometimes criticized for his posing that I want to address. Now, what we like to conventionally pose in a side chest, maybe keep the shoulder away, shoulder down, turn a little bit more, whatever, back double biceps, he's criticized to lean, you know, so much back. I still think that we should all have that authenticity, right? It's authentic for you. Why would you have to be a copycat and do exactly as expected? You can have a little bit tweak that you want. Pose is not for pose. Give me that pose. No, pose is to show the muscles. So if you're showing the muscles the way you want and it's not exactly what is expected because copycats, everybody does the same thing, I give freedom to Behrouz to be himself. One thing that you guys know, I hate it, riding the horse and motorcycle bike in the front relaxed pose. I really hate, and as much as I started this debates with Sean and Bob and everybody else, back in the day, the beauty of bodybuilding standard for, you know, they judge real physique. Real physique was symmetry round, but you cannot pose. Feet together, arms by your side. That's when you can see the real physique. This imaginary, okay, blow up, vacuum, you know, spread the legs, that's not real physique. I was talking like a passport photo is original photo. Instagram photo is filtered a million other ways. Why don't we have a bodybuilding to be real? He competed in China and many people would maybe say, it's not exactly like he looked in Instagram. Do we have that tape to run? Okay, so this is what some people are saying, bad condition. I mean, this is what is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah,
oh, he was off. How much off he was, considering that he showed up in China 48 hours with 2 delays and 28-hour trip after being denied for 3 shows in a row in Europe and denied for Chinese visa the first time that he basically wanted to quit. So this is still Behrouz Tabani's physique, which I think is way superior. And when they question, was James Hollenstock great? Absolutely. But, you know, this physique could be James' physique, you know, pretty much if you're 90% on. And this is at least what Behrouz. Look at these lines.
Yeah, beautiful.
Look at everything. I mean, I hate striated glute thing, but it became the thing nowadays, so you can ignore it. So of course I support his squeezing glute stuff. But look at that. Going into the pose, this super teeny tiny waist, super flat stomach.
Yeah.
You can see it here. Full arms, striated delts.
Do you guys think that the creation of classic physique has kind of pulled away the importance of aesthetics from the open division, where aesthetics is more focused on in classic, whereas bodybuilding they're just looking for more?
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Okay.
I think with bringing classic physique into the federation, everything we wanted to see in bodybuilding, we want to see with classic now, and open bodybuilding is going more towards bigger is better, almost. There's a few guys in open that still carry shape. Samson Dowda comes to mind, Andrew Jackson. And a lot of other guys that still have the shape, but when you look at shows now, China was one show where a lot of people called it robbery. But if it's bodybuilding, you can easily make a case for Behrouz winning, against James, even though James was better conditioned. But classic physique did kind of remind us all what bodybuilding used to be.
Yeah.
I like Behrouz Tabani, and I think we have not seen at the Olympia stage the best of Behrouz Tabani. I judged him in Brazil, I judged him in Romania. And in Romania, I was vastly improved by him because I got a chance to look at him next to Samson Dowda. And at that point, I said, this guy's a real threat to make some move at the Olympia. Now, I have bad news for Milos. Mm-hmm. We cannot take in consideration anything that happens prior to the show.
Right.
Of course.
I don't care if Behrouz Tabani arrives on Friday 10 minutes before the judging. I don't care if Nick Walker has a problem with his girlfriend. I don't care if Martin Fitzwater got in a brawl at the lobby. I have to judge what's in front of me. And at the Olympia, he disappointed. Here's a few things. Behrouz Tabani at his best is a threat to going to the first call out. Do I think he's complete? I think in the past when I first started judging him, he needed more legs, more quads. I felt like his upper body was a little bit overpowering his quads. And that's why he posed with his toes out, right? He posed with his toes out to display a little bit more his quads. I personally didn't like that posing, but I understood why he did it. Right now, his legs are vastly improved, but his conditioning in his last show, which is what we're looking right now, has diminished. And now he is in contention against James Hollinshead, who I personally never saw as a threat to getting that first call out. So I think in bodybuilding, there's the stock market, right? When I look at Dennis James was on a first call out at the Mr. Olympia with Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler. That's always how he's going to be known. I know he won the Tampa show. I know he won a plethora of shows. But when somebody mentions to me Dennis James, I'll say that guy was on a first call out with Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler. When somebody mentions to me Milo Sarcev, said, man, one of the greatest physiques of all times. At the toughest era in bodybuilding, he was top 10. Behrouz Tabani will be judged by what he does at the Olympia. And so far, it has been a disappointment. I understand all the issues, but there's a lot of pressure on him to deliver here because this was not an impressive performance. When I looked at the lineup, I thought Behrouz was just going to smash it, and he didn't. He needed to go into the Olympia and display his best physique to put aside this doubt. Is he one of those guys fighting for top 10, or is he one of those guys that can attack the first call out?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, judges have to judge what's in front of them. Doesn't matter, like I say, if he was in a war up until 5 minutes before he stepped on stage, by all means. I'm just talking in general. Going into the China, I didn't think that he's going to have any problem beating anybody, including James Hollinshead. But him being slightly off, James being ridiculously on, he made a contest that a few people actually saw something that they didn't even consider before, because Behrouz have a dramatically stronger body and attributes that, as Dennis says, it's hashtag bodybuilding. It's not just ripped mass. You know, there are many filters. You're a judge. You know through how many filters you have to go in this just conditioned mass muscle. Okay, James beat him in that one. But every other aspect, I do believe that Behrouz was way dominant with the better V-taper, with the smaller waist, with the stronger back, insertions all the way down. I mean everything. Tyler Mannion explained each and every pose that was questionable. I mean, I argue with Dennis and Chris that back double biceps, they gave it to James, and I could see what they are looking, but they're not looking through all the filters. And when you apply all the filters, like Tyler Mannion explained with the Behrouz being dramatically wider and V-tapered and lower lat insertion, striated glutes, hamstring from behind were not dramatically smaller at all. So you could see the points. I agree with you. Behrouz is diamond in the rough, and until he proves himself on Olympia, the 6 victories that he has so far, twice in Romania, in Brazil, and twice in Dubai, Italy, China now, that doesn't count. Olympia is proven ground. This is how Jeremy made his reign, being a 4 times undefeated. The basically pinnacle of the sport and paragon what every men's physique should look like. So your trademark poses with a super small waist, super flat stomach, and wide lats. Many people position themselves identically to you. You guys are saying with this open division against classic. Classic is beautiful, shapely, and that's bodybuilding. We just strayed away because too many monsters appear, so we created a new class. But bodybuilding should still be about beauty, not about size.
Yeah, but Milos, we've had mass monsters throughout our entire history. Marcos Rule has always been there, okay? Gunter has always been there. We've had great mass monsters. I mean, Dorian Yates didn't have the smallest waist. Yeah. I mean, Flex Wheeler was genetically much more gifted. Branch Warren placed 2nd at the Olympia, came in condition in 2009 and surprised. I think Behrouz Tabani is one of those guys that can be on the first call out of the Olympia if he presents his best physique.
Yeah.
But I also think that if he doesn't, he's going to fall into that 9th, 10th place. And I was just talking to Rafael Brandão recently. You have a small opportunity to make an impression. And your first Olympia, your first couple of Olympias are vital. Martin Fitzwater came to the scene, and look at him. We see him as a first call-out type of guy, right? Behrouz has pressure on him. He needs to deliver this Mr. Olympia.
Well, explain to me then how Sean Ray at the first Olympia placed 13, and Jay Cutler placed 15, and Ronnie Coleman placed nowhere, and they made a huge impact at Olympia. I mean, listen, every show is show for itself. You can be dead last, like, let's say, Dennis Wolf was placing out of the top 15, and then came straight into the top 5. So...
Well, I want to go back to this. Mm-hmm. Sean Ray was a national champion. Him placing 13th at his first Olympia, hey, everybody knew of his potential, that he could move up. Kevin Levrone, Dennis James. Ronnie Coleman had the potential, right? Now you look at guys like Cedric McMillan. Cedric McMillan is a national champion, 2009. He had the potential to win the Olympia, but it didn't pan out. I think there's a lot of guys that turn pro and we look at them and we go, okay, this guy can be Mr. Olympia. This guy can be on the first call out of the Mr. Olympia. Behrouz Tabani is one of them. Sean Ray is one of them. Dennis James was one of them. Chris Cormier is one of them. Cedric McMillan was one of them. And there are guys that they come in, Johan Schatz. Remember Johan Schatz? Yeah. Hey, I love Johan, he's a friend of mine, but he would never make it to the first call out, right?
Well, let me just touch the subject. You mentioned Marcus Rule, who is ultimate monster, right? I don't think that Nick Walker is comparable. You know, now they say, oh, mutant, and he's comparing to Marcus Rule. You know, I'm sorry, he a man's physique. And you know, because if you really saw Marcus Rule back in the day live, this is like mind-boggling. He never made a top Olympia placing.
He did top 5, top 6.
Once maybe,
Yeah.
out of
He was in
8
the
Olympias.
first challenge round.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I think he got
the
5th.
6. Yeah, but that's once in 7 Olympia he competed in.
Well,
You
what
know?
we're trying to get here, Milos, is that
Yeah.
all the pressure is on you right now to
Yeah.
deliver
Yeah.
a powerful performance.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, we got 4 weeks, a little over 4 weeks, you guys, to get all these questions answered. Will Behrouz rise up? Will he improve on his placings? Will we see the best ever? All these questions will be answered shortly. We're gonna take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about one of our rising stars in the open division, making his debut at Olympia. We're excited to talk about this man.
For the biggest show in all of bodybuilding.
Welcome back to Primetime Muscle. Things are heating up. We're just weeks away from the Mr. Olympia. Will we be seeing some new faces crack that top 10? There's a lot of young talent out there right now, you guys, but there's one man in particular that's been catching the eyes of a lot of people, not just because of how good he is right now, but how great his potential is. He's been working his way up in the rankings over the last several years, and I believe this year has been his breakout year, winning the Toronto Pro and making his way to the Mr. Olympia stage. That man is Quinton Beastwood. Quinton Beastwood is one of the taller competitors, 6'2", huge frame, and so much potential. Beautiful shape, as we were discussing. You know, he has had a long road to this place right now where he's making the Olympia stage. 2020, he earned 8th place in New York. 2021, Romania, 5th place. Toronto, 2nd place. 2022, Tampa Pro, 3rd place. 5th place at the Texas. Took the year 2023 off. 2023 completely off. Came back in 24 and placed 2nd in the Toronto Pro and the New York Pro. 2025 was the year that he made his statement. 3rd place at the Texas Pro, 2nd at Tampa Pro, 2nd in Italy, 2nd in Tsunami Pro, and 2nd at the Europa Pro. This year, 1st place at the Toronto Pro, earning his first professional win. This is an exciting time for this man. He's got a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see what he does on Olympia stage this year. What do you guys think about him making his way in the top 10? Is he there yet?
Well, we've talked about him for a few years now. Unbelievable potential. Very, it's similar to a guy like Regan Grimes. Beast, people don't really appreciate how good he looks until you see him in person, how big he really is. But at 6'2", you probably have to be somewhere in the 260, 270 range on stage.
At least.
To be impressive. But he is very impressive. And the only issue he had was this condition. He was never quite what he showed on Instagram, you know, kind of like a Regan Grimes. Yep. They show these pictures on Instagram and you expect for him to, you know, walk into a show and just kill it. And then he's just not quite there yet. So last year I've watched him very closely, and I was at the show, actually. I was emceeing the show in Germany where I think he could have won the show too. It was that close. And it's good to see him winning the show and finally qualifying for the Mr. Olympia. Yeah. I think he still needs just a little bit more time to just mature a little bit more, maybe to add a couple of pounds overall on his frame, but he will be a real threat if he puts it all together.
I agree. What do you think, Niels?
Yeah, I love his physique, absolutely. When I say hashtag bodybuilding, I always mean, symmetrical guys that have a wide shoulder, small waist, everything, V-taper, X-frame, beautiful body. I mean, bodybuilding is about beauty. I don't care what you guys say about, we still need the mass monsters to, level up. But Beastwood has another, one of those physiques that all of us would take it in a heartbeat and then build whatever. You mentioned yourself, he was knocking on the door. He was so close so many times and didn't qualify for Olympia. Like he probably had a 4 or 5 second place
At least. Yeah,
finishes.
at least.
Yeah,
Probably
and
7 of them. Yeah.
even I remember in Dennis's shows when Dennis said that, listen, if it would go Quinton way, I wouldn't be against it. He was so close to making the Olympia last year. Now finally he made it to the Olympia, and then you have experts like Sean Ray, maybe Bob Chikrila, and so like, oh, don't compete. You're not ready. They do not understand the just lifetime dream of being on that Olympia stage. Millions of bodybuilders dream about it. So he finally made it after all these fails, and he's going to pass. Of course not. I would highly suggest him to be there. Dennis mentioned he needs to improve the condition. If that condition with this beautiful shape is there, would he have enough size to crack the top 10? Now that's the question. Dennis, you said 6'2", 260, 270. Nowadays, 6'2" needs to be like 300.
I mean, you're looking at Samson,
You know?
6'1",
Yeah.
Samson pushing 300 pounds on stage, and structurally, I feel like they're very similar. And
Yes.
in order for Quinton to get into that top 5, he's going to have to put on some size.
I believe that even Andrew Jack, competing with him in Texas a couple of years ago, he said that he didn't say fear, but he respect Quinton, that he's in that range similar to him. And being similar to Andrew Jack, who has the potential to win Mr. Olympia, who dominated Arnold Classic this year. I mean, that's how good Quinton can be. Dennis mentioned Regan Grimes and Quinton were possibly in the last 4 or 5 years 2 of the biggest potentials that didn't materialize yet. Are they gonna, show up at Olympia looking like, wait a minute, as Tarek was saying, opportunity for Behrouz to make that first call, to be there. To make a top 10 at Olympia is accomplishment.
Huge accomplishment.
It's accomplishment, and people disregard it. Oh, you're 10th place. This is my greatest accomplishment. And 3 times I qualified to be in top 10. And I think being one of the top 10 in the world is all that he should be focusing on. And I hope to God he makes it.
What do you think, Tarek? How do you think he's going to do stacking up against these guys in the top 10?
So I think he has to be strategic. He has to look at the first call out. We have to be logical here and go based on history. Obviously, anything can change. But last year, first call out was Samson, Andrew, Derek, Hadi, Martin, and Nick Walker. Okay. If he's not on that call out, if Quinton Beastwood is out of that call out, it actually benefits his physique in terms of comparisons. Because if he gets into a second call out with Behrouz Tabani, James Hollinshead, Tonio Burton, and some of those guys, Brandon Curry, he's going to look tall and athletic, but he's not going to be facing Samson and Andrew, who are tall and athletic. He's not going to have huge, thick guys like Nick Walker, Derek Lunsford that are going to expose and show that he's streamlined. So the second call out at the Olympia benefits him. He needs to get there. If he falls to the third call out, then he's going to place around 13th and 14th. He needs to fight real hard to get into that second call out and then be right next to guys like, hey, Brandon Curry, hey, man, I might not have his density, but look, for a big guy, my legs are pretty big. Next to Tonio Burton, hey, listen, he's a lot thicker than me, but in a few poses, I can get him somewhere. That's how he's going to make a move. He needs to have, okay, I want to win the Mr. Olympia. I need to think I'm the greatest bodybuilder of all times. But here's my logical goal. Let me get into that second call out, pose next to some of these superstars that are consolidated on the judges' minds, and take a few poses from them. If he does that, then 2027 could be a year that he breaks out. I think that's the strategy for Quinton Beastwood.
Yeah, I really think him cracking that top 10 this year will be a huge confidence boost for him. I think that's going to help catapult him into 2027 and 28 to make strides to continue improving on his placings. I really believe that Quinton could be somebody that's breaking that top 5 in the years to come.
And look, I'm going to ask you guys, would you be surprised if Quinton Beastwood beats James Hollinshead, Jordan Hutchinson, if he beats those guys? I wouldn't. I think he has the potential to beat those guys. I think the problem he's going to have is with Tonio Burton, Brandon Curry, and Behrouz Tabani. Yeah. Now, Behrouz could come in, Tonio could come in, and Brandon squeeze into the first, but he needs to look at those guys and say, I'm going to take down Jordan Hutchinson.
There's
I'm going to take
a few
down
more guys he needs to worry about, like Michael Krizo.
Michael Krizo is one of those guys who's
so it's going to be hard.
vastly
It's going to be hard.
Yeah, you know. Now, if he gets next to Michael Krizo, he needs to think, I'm a lot more aesthetic than this guy. It's time for me to show the judges that I have that V-taper, that I have the legs, that I have everything. He needs to fight real hard to get in that second call out. And I think once he's there, he can make some noise.
All this can only happen if he does one thing, if he brings the condition. If he doesn't bring the condition, he's going to be out of the top 10. I don't care what your shape is. So in order to get second call out, which, and I like what you just said. I like that he's able to shine in that call out and to make a name for himself and come back next year, even improve and deal with the first call out. But he needs to be conditioned in order to get in the second call out, you know, to get that comparison with those guys who are going to be in shape. I'm talking to Tonio. I'm talking to Michael Krizo, even Brandon. Those are guys, they are very, very, they come in shape every time, you know. So that's the only thing that he hasn't proven yet. He's getting better. He's adding size. The condition is what matters.
I agree.
Well, the competition is going to be stiff. That top 10 is going to be a battle to get in there. Anybody that cracks that top 10 is going to be a huge accomplishment. So time will tell. We'll see if Quinton comes in improved, more conditioned, and if he's going to have the capabilities of knocking out some of those guys in that top 10.
Well, he has the body.
He does.
He has the body. There's no doubt about it. And he has the biggest calf on any black person I've ever seen.
He has big legs for a tall guy. He has big legs for a tall guy.
The calves are what gets you. Have you seen his calves?
Yeah, he's impressive.
His calves, for me, is unbelievable.
Except Nexila.
Yeah. That's a different level.
Do we have any pictures or video of him?
Of Quinton Beastwood?
Quinton, yes.
Right there. Look on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
Small waist. You know, he's going to look streamlined next to
Well,
a
that's
guy.
old. That's old pictures here, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's different. That's different times. Okay, which one
Yeah,
is
it
what?
looks like
Okay.
that's like almost amateur right here.
Yeah.
Like these are
Beard,
Yeah,
beard
he looked like
is
a
now.
young, he looked like a
No
young
beard
Phil
is-
Heath in the
yeah,
green
right
trunks.
there, right? Yeah, he does. I mean, obviously, his physique is beautiful, but he is going to need to add on, 20 pounds at least to be able to stand next to those guys. I mean, especially if he's going to get next to Andrew and Samson in the years to come.
But look, even then, look, this is what I'm talking about. You don't see this on black people, like calves like a old farmer's boy. Crazy.
Very impressive.
I want to know when that was, though. That must be a long time ago.
2021 right there.
here
Right?
it says
21.
26.
21
So this
right
is-
there. So he was pro. in this-
21.
He was pro
Yeah.
here.
So look at the difference. So that's 2026, and that's compared to 2021.
Yeah.
Here. Beautiful.
So can we say that he put tremendous amount of size in 5 years?
I wouldn't say tremendous amount of size. I think he's getting big. What I like, he's getting bigger. It's not going too fast. A lot of people with great talent like him, and I could name a few, I won't.
Yeah.
They tried to do it so fast and they blew out their whole shape, and that they ended up not being as symmetrical as they used to be. So I think I like what he's doing. He's still young.
He's still young, but he did take 2023, as Jeremy said, completely not competing, put the size off season, and it didn't work that well. I am one of those guys that have competed constantly, continuously throughout the years. You don't need to have off season. Off is just worded I hate. You are in condition, you keep your size, put a little bit of body fat, but once you become as watery as Tarek is, you know, there's going to be hard to
Oh, that's right.
I'm 2 sauna sessions away from being shredded, okay? Just give me a pill here and I'll come down the
Yes.
weight. Now, I gotta say something that's interesting. Like I said, judges, they cannot take any of that in consideration. He needs to grow, yeah. There's a guy that grew really fast, Samson Dauda,
Yeah.
right? I judged Samson Dauda in 2020 and he looked like this.
Yeah.
Okay, and now I judge Samson Dauda, and he looks a lot bigger than this. Do I care what happened between then and now for both of these guys? I don't. But all I know, there's one of them that exploded and looked humongous and won the Olympia.
Okay.
And I give you credit because he grew under your protocol.
But you see, 2021, I started working with him. He competed throughout 2022 and 3 and 4. We did together 13 shows, back to back to back to back. And he grew as he was keeping it lean. I love his physique. Now, when you analyze, calves, crazy. He has a beautiful shape of the quads, separate as can be. So a little bit more size, that can be great. Super flat stomach, deep abs, beautiful midsection. Shoulders, arms, holy hell. Frontal biceps. He needs to fill up the power muscle, chest and back. He's criticized from the back. Okay, it is beautiful, it's just not enough. So for somebody that tall and that aesthetic, if you have a power muscles, and power muscles is chest, back, and legs, now all of a sudden you put yourself into the equation. Oh, he has a size and he has a more beautiful shape. He comes conditioned, he can be ignored. Can he do that this year? Possibly, if he's been working hard. But I agree with you, Tarek. 2027, I see him doing big things.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys, only weeks away from finding out. Quinton, we are excited to see you on stage. You have fans all over the world that are supporting you and anxious to see what you bring to the stage. The sky is the limit for you, my brother, and we're excited to see what you do. We want to take the time to thank some of our sponsors here at Primetime Muscle. Tarek, take that away.
Yeah. I want to mention to you guys, I want you guys to go right now to www.globalformulas.com. This is what's going to happen. They're going to be at the Mr. Olympia, close to the stage at pre-judging for classic physique and wellness. I'm going to be there and I'm going to give free giveaways, and I'm also going to be doing some sponsorships for the entire year. I want you to go right now to www.globalformulas.com, check out some of the supplements, come in, show me a receipt at the Olympia, and maybe you're the next Global Formulas sponsored athlete. Back to you, Jeremy.
The Olympia tickets are on sale, you guys. This is going to be an amazing event, so make sure you guys get your tickets. We're all going to be there at Olympia. Everybody's going to be at Olympia. This one's going to be exciting. We'll see you guys in Las Vegas. Please support the show, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.